Hi there, welcome back, and thank you for joining me today. For today's practice, we have a 20-minute Vinyasa flow called Float, Fly, Don't Worry If You Fall. Today's practice is going to be working up towards some arm balances. Hello, Canella. So we're going to be working up towards our crow pose, our Bakasana. And yeah, if you're coming with us for the 20-day challenge, well done. You've made it to day 8. Well, without further ado, let's get started. If you're coming with me and playing the playlist, we're going to press play in 3, 2, 1 all together. And then we're actually going to start today's practice standing. So we're going to come and stand at the top of our mat. And just close down the eyes and take a moment to land here. Your legs can be hip width apart, hands down by your side, eyes closed. And all together, we'll take a deep inhale and exhale it out through the mouth. And we're going to do a few rounds of our breath of joy. I love this breathwork technique. I find it super, super energizing and just a really lovely way to get into the body before we start our practice. So the breath is going to be a 3-part inhale and then a long exhale. So we're going to inhale 1/3, throwing our arms up to the sky. Inhale for the second third, arms out to the side. Inhale for the third third. That's a bit of a tongue twister, up to the sky. And then exhale it all out, opening up the mouth and sighing it out. And we'll do this a few rounds, a few times, and then we'll hold the exhale. So go at a pace that suits you. If you want a more intense experience, speed it up. If you're newer to the breath, take it slow and just get into it and see how it feels. So, invitation here to close down the eyes. Don't worry what it looks like. There is no one watching you. You're all watching me. On the inhale, 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 and let it all go. And we go again. Inhale, 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 inhale. Let it go. Keep going. Finding a rhythm that suits you. A few more. Final one. And let it all go. Stay down in the forward fold. Arms hanging heavy, head hanging heavy. Maybe swaying from left to right, right to left. Noticing any sensations, any feelings in the body. You may be feeling a little bit lightheaded, a little bit tingly throughout the body, so just notice that. And on our next inhale, we're going to roll up very slowly. And we're going to come to standing, maybe rolling back those shoulders. Really lovely. On our inhale, we're going to take our hands up to the sky. And exhale, bring our hands into our heart center. There's the opportunity now, if you work with intentions, to set an intention for your practice towards something or someone that you love or you feel needs your energy. Equally, my offering for you today is the intention of acceptance. We'll take one deep inhale here to seal our intention and exhale it out. On the inhale, those hands will go back up to the sky. Let your gaze follow. Exhale, gently forward fold it down. Inhale, rolling up the spine. We're taking those hands back up to the sky. Exhale, gently folding down, maybe having a generous bend in those knees. Really trying to open up the back body as we melt forwards. Inhale, rolling through the spine here. Final time. And then roll it back up. And those hands go up to the sky. We're going to take our left wrist in our right hand. We're going to take our left hand, foot even behind our right foot, And we're going to bend over to the right hand side. Really breathing into our left side body here. Sticking the hips out to the left hand side whilst the arms and the legs go over to the right hand side. And on your next inhale, we'll come back through center. Switch wrists. Take the right foot behind the left this time. And that gaze can go up towards the top right hand corner of the room. One more inhale here. We'll come back through center. Bring those hands down into our heart center. We're going to move through one round of our sun salutation bees. So inhaling, we're going to bend the knees, coming into our chair pose. Exhale, we're going to forward fold. Inhale, hands on shins, come up halfway. Exhale, take the hands down to the mat, step the right foot and then the left foot back into your high plank. You can either lower the knees here or come through the full version of Chaturanga. And we'll all meet in our downward facing dog. Right foot raises to the sky and then we step it forward, coming into our high lunge. Inhaling to the top. Exhale, take the hands down to the mat, step the foot back, move through a Chaturanga. We'll meet in our downward facing dog, where the left foot goes up and steps forward. Inhaling, you rise into the pose. And exhale, hands down to the mat, step it back, move through your Chaturanga, and we'll all meet in our downward facing dog, where we'll have 2 rounds of breath. Really spreading through those hands, pushing down through each finger, and then pushing down through your feet. Again, maybe having a slight bend in those knees. It's early in the practice. This may be your first dog of the day. One more inhale. On the next inhale, we're going to come to tiptoes, look towards the top of the mat, and we're going to step our right foot and then our left foot to the top of the mat. Inhaling, coming halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bending those knees, coming back through our chair pose. And then exhale, come back to standing. On the inhale, we'll take our hands up to the sky. Exhale, we'll forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, hands down to the mat. Left foot steps back this time, then right foot. And we go back to our downward facing dog. Inhale, right foot raises to the sky, 3-legged. And on the exhale, we're bringing that right knee to the outside of the right arm. So if you can, try and get it onto the tricep and just hold it here. Building strength through the arms, trying to create a shelf for those arms. You may bend down a little, do a push-up, and then take it back. Taking the left foot down, right foot down, switching. Left foot up to the sky. And then bring it forward to that left tricep. And maybe creating the shelf. Maybe having a play with a push-up. And then taking it back and down. Really nice. In our down dog, we're going to drop our knees down to the mat and come to our all fours position. Moving through a cow and a cat. One more of each of these. Inhaling, cow. Exhaling, cat. And then finding a neutral spine. We're just going to warm up into the wrist today, because when we move into our crow pose, our Bakasana, we're going to be putting a fair amount of weight through the wrists. So it's always sensible just to warm those up. So we'll start by just rocking and rolling forwards and backwards, sending some blood into that region. You can take your wrists so they face the long edges of the mat and sway from side to side, left to right, right to left. You can turn the fingertips so they face towards the knees. Going a little bit more cautiously with this one, maybe going one hand at a time. Again, rocking backwards and forward. And if you want to go one step further still, we can flip the hands so the palms face up to the sky, pushing through the backs of the hands. Again, this can be a really nice one to do just one hand at a time if the sensation is very intense. And then we'll come back to our all fours position, taking our hands a little bit further out in front. And then we're going to drop down into the triceps a little. So see how this feels. If it's really intense, bring the hands close towards the knees. If you want a little bit more, take them out further in front. So tucking the elbows in, lower the arms down and up. Try to do both arms together. Shakes and wobbles are welcome. That's 5. 5 more to go. Well done, everyone. And then plant the hands back under the shoulders. On the inhale, the right hand raises up to the sky. And on the exhale, we tuck the right arm under, bringing the cheek down to the mat. You extend the left leg out and maybe take the left hand forwards, and that might be enough for you. Or, as today's practice is themed around balances, you may wish to try and grab that back ankle with the left hand and come into a little bit of a balance here, kicking the foot into the hand, not worrying if you fall out of it, just having a smile and coming back in. One more breath here. And exhale, take the hand and the knee back down to the mat. Push down through your left hand, taking your right hand up to the sky. And exhale, right hand comes down to the mat. We're wiggling out those hips, we'll go to the other side. So left hand, rise to the sky on the inhale. And on the exhale, you tuck the left arm under, coming down onto that left ear. Again, options here, right arm forward, right leg back. And you may wish to have a little play with catching that foot and coming into a balance. One more breath here. And lowering it down. Planting the right hand, pushing through that hand to take the left hand up to the sky. And exhale, back to your all fours. From here, we're going to push down through both hands. And we're going to come through our downward facing dog. Taking a moment to arrive in your downward facing. Looking towards the top of the mat, we're going to bend those knees and we're going to walk, tiptoe even, to the top of the mat. And we're going to find ourselves in our yogic squat, our Bakasana. So like so. Bringing your hands in between your knees and into your heart center. From here, we're going to lower down onto our bottoms, so maybe taking your hands behind you and just lower down onto your bottom. Engaging the core, going to lift those feet off the ground, sucking the knees together, the feet together, and taking the arms out to the side. In our Navasana, our boat pose. You may wish to stay here, or if you want to build a little bit more heat and engage the core a little bit more, we're going to lower down into our low boat. Inhale, bring it back up. Exhale, take it down. Inhale up, exhale down. That's 3, 2 more. Final one. And then from here, we're going to plant our feet on the ground and we're slowly going to lower down to our backs. Well done, everyone. On our backs, we're going to tuck our knees into our chest and we're going to come into an upside down crow. So push your arms up to the sky, really flexing the hands if you're pushing into the ground, And then come and try and tuck your knee onto the tricep as we were doing earlier in that plank position. Flexing the feet, flexing the hands, so really engaging the core, tucking the legs in to the armpits, onto the triceps, whilst pushing the sky away with the hands. You should feel this as quite an active posture. And here we have our crow pose. Taking the hands behind the backs of the knees, we're going to rock and roll up the back body. Doing this 2 more times. And on the 3rd time, we're going to see if we can come back into our Malasana squat. So you might need to use your hands there. I almost went tumbling back down, but managed to use the momentum to get me back into Malasana. From here, we're going to move into our crow. So if you have crow in your practice, please crack on and go ahead and take flight. If you're coming with me, we're going to plant the hands down in front of us, really spreading the hand out wide, gripping the mat with all fingers and pushing down through the palm. You're going to come up onto your tiptoes, bending those arms in our chaturanga, and that might be enough. You might just want to stay here, just feeling the weight going through the arms, or you may wish to play with taking one foot up and then the other. Taking flight into your crow pose. It's nice and sweaty here in Costa Rica. I'm just going to give that a little wipe. And I'm still very much on a journey with my crow pose. Some days it wants to take flight, some days it's a little bit more stubborn. But really just have a play with it. And one great piece of advice is trying to look forwards, not down. So taking your weight and energy forwards rather than down. And remember to breathe when you're up there. And again, if this seems quite far away from where you are right now, maybe just play with bending those arms and just lifting one foot up at a time. You just get into the practice of feeling the weight on the backs of the arms and into the posture. You can always come down onto your back and go into the upside down crow. There's plenty of variations. But for us, we need to move on now. So we're going to move through a vinyasa. So come through your plank, lower down, upward facing dog on the inhale, and exhale, downward facing dog. From our downward facing dog, we're going to look to the top of the mat. We're going to step or hop. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. On our inhale, we're going to roll up to the sky. On our exhale, bringing our hands into heart center. Coming back through our chair pose. On our inhale, this time, you may wish to bring the knees together. Good. So we're going to bring our hands into heart center and we're going to come into our twisted chair. So our left elbow outside our right knee. And you may wish to stay here, or you can have a little play with your side crow. That's in your practice. Try not to face plant on the ground and break your nose like I almost did there. We're coming back through our twisted chair on the inhale, arms up to the sky, and then we'll take it over to the other side. So right elbow outside the left knee this time. Again, if you want to have a go with the side crow, this side's always a little bit trickier for me. Tucking those elbows underneath, creating the shell. And then coming back through your chair pose. From here, going to fold forwards, taking the pressure out of the legs. Really nice. Come up halfway. Place those hands down to the mat. We're going to step back to our downward facing dog. So we have a few options from our downward facing dog. We're coming towards the end of our practice. So if you're feeling quite energized and you want to try another inversion, please go ahead and try a headstand. So try tripod or forearm headstand if that's in your practice. If you're coming with me, I'm going to move into a shoulder stand. And if both of those options seem just not really what you're up for right now, I invite you to find a wall. There aren't many walls in this shala, as you can see, but I invite you to find a wall, lie down on your back, and just take your feet up to the sky, resting against the wall to let the blood flow down to the center of the body. As I said, I'm coming through a shoulder stand, so if you're coming with me, we're going to tuck the elbows in, lift the hips up to the sky, plant the hands on the back body, point those toes up to the sky, really engage the body. Try find that stacking and be here for 5 breaths. And after your 5th breath, we're going to come down into our plow pose, just bending the knees, taking the feet behind us. Oh yeah, my hamstrings are tight today. Remembering you can have a big bend in the knees if you need to. And then slowly, from whatever position you are in, going to lower down onto our mats. If you took the shoulder stand, you might want to come through your fish pose, so planting your hands underneath your bottom, tucking under the elbows and taking the head back, shining the chest up to the sky, pointing those feet. And then let it all go, and we'll come down into our Shavasana, our final resting pose. Letting everything go. Noticing any shifts, any changes that may have occurred in the body or in the mind. If you set an intention, maybe coming back to that intention. My offering was around acceptance of what your body can and can't do today. And then on our next inhale, we're going to start to bring some awareness back into the body, wiggling those fingers, wiggling those toes. Tucking the knees into chest, rolling onto whichever side feels most comfortable for you. We're going to push back up. We're going to find ourselves in a seated position. With those eyes closed. On the inhale, taking those hands up to the sky. And on the exhale, bringing those hands down to your heart center. In gratitude for yourself for turning up on the mat. And in gratitude to the wisdom of yoga. Inhaling and coming back to the room. Maybe flickering open those eyes. Thank you so much for flowing with me today. That was Float, Fly, Don't Worry If You Fall, where we were playing with some of those Bakasana arm balances. If you are joining for the challenge, well done. That's day 8 complete. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bye for now.